Hello and welcome to today's Cosmic Connection, where we're going to look at today's planetary movements and see how their energies and influence may guide us through the day. Today we are looking at Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. Today we see the waxing gibbous moon in Pisces connect with Venus in Virgo in opposition. We see it connecting with Uranus in Taurus in retrograde motion in a cooperative sextile, and connecting with Neptune in Pisces in retrograde motion in a conjunction, bringing our inner, growing, flowing self into opposition with our logical, practical love and relationships in order for us to connect with our individuality and the ability to be ourselves in a cooperative way that aligns with our own uniqueness. This will lead to us aligning in our inner dreams, in our ever-changing dreams, in the flow of our dreamy existence. This will enable us to transform from a raw inner place that will allow us to change in profound ways. These energies of growth and abundance, of loving ourselves in all our forms and incorporating our dreams into being, is what is going to allow us to transform to end the cycle that is coming to a close. The first aspect we see today is between the waxing gibbous moon in Pisces and Venus in Virgo in opposition. The waxing gibbous moon is a time of growth, of increasing momentum to the places that we have been putting our energy. It is a time to keep pushing forward as the things we have been growing begin to near completion. The moon is beginning to swell in illumination, bringing more of our inner self to light, allowing us to see ourselves in more of our wholeness. The moon is the representation of our inner self, our emotional self, our intuitive self. While in Pisces, the moon has been aiding us in closing those inner cycles that no longer serve, allowing us to swim in our own flow, allowing a fluidity to how we turn up in our inner, emotional, intuitive self. This allows us to connect to our inner being in deep and profound ways that will allow us to move on from the cycles that we stand in. Venus is the planet of unconditional love and acceptance. It is linked to the relationships we hold and how we value and give in them. It is the planet that guides us in our expression of love and how we accept the people we have in our lives, as well as learning to accept and love ourselves. While in Virgo, our love has taken a very practical stance that has allowed us to dissect our relationships in order to see the smaller pieces. From these smaller pieces, we are able to ingest the information and energy and digest it into understandable ways. From this understanding, we are able to see our relationships as a whole. We do need to be careful to not come from a place of nitty-gritty where we pick our relationships apart and express this. We are merely picking our relationships apart to understand them, to see them in all their aspects. From this place of understanding, we can see the love that we stand in and any conditions that are placed on those love forms, whether by ourselves or others. This transit is going to be very important in working through our relationships and strengthening them in all the ways they stand, allowing us to make the changes we need to remove any toxic elements or miscommunications, really strengthening the ways that we communicate in our relationships. So this harmonizing connection between our inner self in completion and our unconditional love and acceptance is really going to allow us to see how we flow and how we turn up in our relationships, where we are giving from, how we are giving, allowing us to shift our love into unconditional forms, really allowing us to expand our heart space in practical, logical ways. For some, this is going to see the ending of a cycle in our relationship, either walking away from unhealthy relationships or accepting that someone is not coming back. For others, we are going to shift from those toxic energy forms into ones of support and unconditional love as we see those restrictions and how they stand. For others, it is going to allow them to step into their inner flow, enabling them to concentrate on the relationship they hold with themselves. As oppositions are opposite energies coming together in order to be integrated, it is really about finding how these energies of opposition can really work together and blend. This is going to allow us to bring things to completion, bring things into our cycles and currents, aiding us in bringing love into our being in new and empowering ways. Next, we see the Pisces growing moon meet Uranus in Taurus in retrograde motion in a cooperative sextile aspect. Uranus is the planet of revolutionary change, change that frees us to be our own unique self. It is the energy of freedom and the rebellion to simply be. The rebellion to change, to continually change. While in Taurus, Uranus has been all about grounding in our being, in our freedom, in our true authentic self, allowing us to bring into reality the truths that our being holds, allowing us to simply be in all our ever-changing forms. It has allowed us to nurture and support ourselves in new and loving ways that have enabled us to ground in this beautiful energy of authenticity, of being in ourself, our standing in our sovereignty. In retrograde motion, Uranus in Taurus has turned within to shine light on the areas that may be restricting us from being our truest form, allowing us to look at these restrictions in new and healing light that will empower us to bring them to the surface for release and integration. This is encouraging us to heal some of those pains of the past we may hold from past forms of our being, forms of ourselves that were not our truest being, or holding our truest being back. This sextile aspect, this cooperative aspect, bringing two energies together to be blended and integrated, is really bringing our expansive, inner, emotional, intuitive self into cooperation with our inner authentic being. Uranus. Really allowing us to come to the end of this cycle of finding ourselves and bringing us into a new level of acceptance, where we see that we are many forms, that we are ever-changing forms, that each of our forms aid our growth in some way forward. This connection of our inner self in completion, in the flow of its being, with our authentic self in a place of unconditional love and acceptance and nourishment, is really aiding us in bringing our inner being into our love, allowing us to be who we truly are inside. This gives us the power to express ourselves in new and profound ways. This connection of our inner intuitive self and our inner authentic self is a very powerful connection after we have reassessed our communications and how we are acting in our world. This connection is allowing us to see ourselves in our full, in our power, in our raw authenticity, in our ever-changing forms. For some, this is going to be a really empowering transit where we can see where we have nourished ourselves into being, allowing us to be who we are in all our forms. For others, this is going to illuminate a side of ourselves that we may not have seen clearly as it comes to light to be integrated or shed. This is going to allow us to see ourselves from a deeper level, enabling us to connect with ourselves in new ways that allow us to see our truest form in more clarity. For others, it is going to allow us to bring revolutionary change to how we treat our inner self, how we express ourselves, and how we connect with the person we are, allowing us to see ourselves in the worth that we truly hold. really empowering us to see and understand ourselves as an impactful individual. This is going to empower us to turn up in new ways. However this transit connects with yourself, know that you may see your inner being in a new light. You may see a new place that you can nourish into growth. Later on in the day, as the moon continues to move through Pisces, it is going to align with the planet of dreams and illusions, Neptune, in retrograde motion. Neptune is the energy of our dream world, our ability to imagine and create within our mind and then bring it into being. Neptune allows us to see our dreams as they are, encouraging us to use discernment to see where our dreams are our own and where they are the dreams of others. It allows us to see the illusions in our dreams and the dreams within our illusions, encouraging us to find and go after our dreams. While in Pisces, Neptune has been bringing some fluidity, some flexibility to our dreams to encourage us to change the ways we are connecting to our dreams. This has allowed us to establish new ways to see our dreams and get our emotions behind it. Pisces is the mutable water sign, is all about changing our emotional waters, our reactions, our thoughts, and our feelings as they are ever changing. So Pisces asks us to see the cycle as a whole. So Neptune's transit through Pisces has really been about showing us where we need to release those dreams that are never going to come to completion, those dreams that are the conditioning of others. It is asking us to bring flexibility to our dreams, encouraging them to grow in new and unique ways, allowing the abundant energies of our dreams to become expansive in revolutionary ways. This is encouraging us to dream big. Neptune in Pisces is currently in retrograde motion, moving through the shadow world, the underworld, the subconscious, the inner world, bringing to light those dreams we withhold, those dreams that need some flexibility in order to flourish in growth. For some, this transit of Neptune's is going to bring our dreams in to abundance as we have been working on getting there through determination, hard work, and faith. For others, it is going to show them which dreams are not their own, which dreams belong to past versions of themselves or the societal conditioning they have grown in. This recognition of dreams we are holding onto but don't want allows us to release them to make room for new dreams to grow. For others, it has allowed us to see our true dreams, what we really want to be working towards, pushing us into action. For others, it has validated that we need a new dream, or that we need to allow ourselves to dream without restrictions, without control. By allowing our imagination to take control, we can uncover our true dreams from the messages our imagination holds. It can also open us up to expansive new dreams. The last transit of the day that we see is the moon in void of course, meeting Pluto in void of course in a cooperative sextile. This connection of our raw inner energy and our transformative energy is a perfect way to end the day as we are pushed to address the things we need to act on to bring change, the cycles we need to let close in order for new ones to open, the us we need to be in order to grow. It is going to be a very powerful transit to aid us in wrapping up the day, really bringing us into our active, changing self in a way that is loving and revolutionary. Pluto is the planet of change, of transformation, of rebirth, of rising from the ruins. It is the energy that incorporates our cycles, the cycles of nature, the natural rhythms of the world. It is the planet that is no longer classified as a planet, the planet that has transformed the way we look at astrology in the world. It has allowed us to see in new transformative ways. In void of course, we are connecting to the planetary energies in their purest forms, untainted by zodiac flavoring, really allowing the planetary energy to resonate through. This is the perfect energy of Scorpio season, change, transformation, death and renewal, rebirth from the nourishment of decay. This connection of the moon, the representation of our inner self, our emotional self, our intuitive self, is really bringing a deep inner knowing to the transformations that are going to occur. It is bringing these energies of transformation and change into our inner being to allow us to transform how we feel, relate, act, and are in our inner self. This is empowering us to change the ways we feel about our inner self and get behind our inner knowing, allowing us to transform how we connect to that wise inner self. For some, this connection of the moon and Pluto is going to bring them into their inner change, allowing them to make a change they have been thinking about as they see the benefit it is going to hold to their inner self. For others, it is going to allow them to see their emotional self and how it has, is, and needs to transform in order to bring us into a balanced state of emotional resilience, where we can understand and know our emotions enough to see through them, making our reactions more authentic and less reactive. This is really going to empower us to do the inner work as we see these transformations materializing in our outer form. For others, it is going to make us question the cycles we keep putting ourselves through, which will allow us to identify where we need to make changes, where we need to bring things into balance in order to grow. A powerful transit to end the day, to really bring us into completion as we await the lunar eclipse, the full moon in Taurus, the completion of the previous eclipse cycle, which occurs on Saturday, a time full of completion, unity, and the ability to nourish ourselves in our whole. On Thursday, we see the moon move into Aries, the beginning of the zodiac, and the energy of new beginnings. And Venus in Virgo connects in a variable form with Chiron in Aries in retrograde motion, bringing this energy of new beginnings into play that we will talk about tomorrow. Friday, we see no aspects before a busy weekend of connections and closure. Until tomorrow, goodbye, my friends.